Well, good evening and welcome, District 40 podcast viewers and friends. Welcome to our August episode. My name is Althea, and I'm 1/4 of the podcast team. I'll kick things over to my next co-host, Michael.
Hello, District 40, and anyone out there watching. I am Michael Pope. Excited to be here for another episode of the District 40 podcast. Over to you, Scott.
What's up, District 40? Excited to be here on a Tuesday night with all of you to be talking everything D40 Toastmasters. Welcome.
Hey, my name is Bertina, and I am the last and the final of the 4. Welcome, everyone, to our D40 August episode. Back to our Althea.
Hello. So as customary, we always start our podcast by reading our podcast mission. And our mission statement is to educate and entertain our listeners and viewers by providing a positive and supportive experience to help our viewers and listeners develop stronger communication and leadership skills. How's everyone doing today?
I'm doing great. It's been a beautiful day.
I know it. It's such a beautiful day. I feel like it's been such a long time since I've seen your smiling faces.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Anything fun and exciting for any of you guys? Any of you guys have school-age kids that have returned to school so far?
Yes, yeah, my three sons started school on Monday, and we just got back from vacation. So we were in Florida last week at a Maxwell Leadership Conference.
Nice.
Sunny Florida, super hot there, but excited to be back here for them to start school and just get going.
Awesome.
My three sons, that sounds like a TV show, Michael.
It sure does. It sure does.
We're not breaking any copyright laws, though, right?
Is it a reality TV show?
Yes,
Yeah,
I love
that's
it.
what's going to my mind, Scott. Thinking of that music.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. What about you, Scott?
I just got back from a vacation, too. My family went to Lake Tahoe for 5
Nice.
days, and it was gorgeous. The most beautiful places I've ever been. It was so cool.
That's amazing. Awesome. Good for
Yes.
you. What about you, Bertina?
It's also great, Scott, during the winter, too, for the skiing. Wonderful. Well, as I was sharing with you guys earlier, my one granddaughter, she was off to college today to Hawaii Pacific University, and we had about 4 or 5 other grands that started school this week. So, I'm excited all the way around. I'm excited for the new chapter in her life.
That's pretty amazing. Good for her. Hawaii, that's pretty awesome too.
Yes.
Hopefully you guys get to go out there and visit.
We are. Well, I think we're going to do it probably in 2025. We have already planned our vacation for 2024. So
Nice. Awesome. Well, yeah, I just got back from vacation as well. I had a cruise. We cruised to Central America and Mexico. So that was pretty awesome to get away. Yeah. And it was extremely hot, you guys. It was just ridiculous how hot it was. But I enjoyed the time away. It was great. I had so much fun. So we're back here and ready to do this podcast episode. So as part of any Toastmasters meeting, we love to introduce a word of the day. And the word of the day is designed to challenge our Toastmasters members and visitors to utilize the word of the day to expand their vocabulary. And today, our word of the day is ubiquitous. And this word means existing or being everywhere at the same time. An example of this word would be the Toastmasters' ubiquitous influence was felt by all club members. So your goal today during our podcast episode is to utilize the word of the day, ubiquitous. Got it?
Got it.
All right. All right. So we'll go ahead and kick things over to Scott to kick off our first segment.
Awesome. Thank you, Althea. And you're not going to believe this, but we have a ubiquitous guest tonight starting off the show for us. Don Schultz, a Toastmaster since 2005 and was our 2019 and 20 District 40 Director. Don previously earned the trifecta of District 40 recognition, which is being selected as the Area Director of the Year, Division Director of the Year, and Toastmaster of the Year.
Woo-hoo.
Don has also served the district as both the district finance manager and district administration manager. And he's also co-hosted the original initial D40 podcast. So he's laid the groundwork for us tonight. Don's currently in 3 Toastmasters clubs: Agoisi, Encore Advanced Toastmasters, and Higher Advanced Toastmasters. And Don is also currently co-chairing the District 40 Conference Fundraising Committee, and we'll probably be talking a little bit about that tonight. So D40, put your hands together and welcome to the D40 podcast, Don Schultz.
Round of
All
applause.
right, come on down.
We're waiting for him to enter the room. He's coming in the room.
Oh, I should have kept that going.
That's okay.
Hiding.
Don, 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 Don.
He made it.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, all right.
Yes.
How's
welcome.
everybody
Nobody's
doing
been
tonight?
Done.
Doing great. Good to see you, Don.
You
Great to see
too.
you.
It's like I'm back. It's like I'm back home in a way.
Yes, you
So-
are. Yes, you are.
Trailblazer.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
So Don, that is quite a list of accomplishments for D40 that we heard in your bio. And in my opinion, D40, we have on the show tonight D40 Toastmasters royalty. Don was a huge influence on my early years in Toastmasters and really encouraged me in the beginning to achieve distinguished Toastmaster status. And I have a 2-part question for you to start off with tonight, Don. First off, how many DTMs have you achieved now? And then what is the most rewarding aspect in your years in Toastmasters? What, 18 years? Is that right? Did I do the math right? 18 years in
Yep.
Toastmasters.
Wow.
What's been the most rewarding aspect of your experience? Has it been the speaking opportunities and the speeches that you've done, or has it been all of your accolades that you've gathered up as part of the leadership?
Mhm.
Well, let me answer the last question first. My favorite part of being a part of Toastmasters specifically is how it transformed myself. When I started in Toastmasters, I was really nervous. I had a lack of confidence. Many people don't know this today, but I have a speech impediment. And when I'm tired, my R's come out really bad. And I had no confidence. I'll tell just a real quick story. Some of you may have heard this, but I was already a leader in my organization before Toastmasters. I didn't join Toastmasters to help me get a promotion. But what happened was I was doing what's called a director's call when I was speaking to my 100 or so associates in the auditorium. I was looking down and I was saying all kinds of ums and ahs. I wasn't looking at anybody. I was looking at my notes, standing in one place. And when I ended the director's call, one of my employees said, "Don, have you ever heard of Toastmasters?" And that was my signal that, wow, I really may need to consider that. I equate that to my mom used to tell me, if somebody offers you a piece of gum, that means you have stinky breath. Take the piece of gum. I was hearing from him that I had stinky speaking, so I needed to join Toastmasters, and it has transformed me. But what has transformed me more about is it's addressed what I call my stinky thinking. And it's the lack of confidence, the thought that nobody would ever want to hear me, that you don't have a message to deliver, that you shouldn't be in front of people. It's that stinky thinking that Toastmasters has transformed me over the years. On a personal note, that's what has been most valuable to me. But what I was surprised about is the leadership aspect. Again, I was already a leader at my work. I didn't think I needed to grow my leadership muscle. But when I got into leadership at Toastmasters, and I had to influence people to do things where I didn't have that positional authority, Wow, I learned the skills of persuasion. I learned the skills of negotiation, of encouragement, of gratitude, things that I really did transform back into my regular job, and it's helped there immensely. So again, that's my favorite part. But I got to be honest with you, Scott. I've been in Toastmasters so long, I forgot the first part of your question. So you're going to have to repeat that part.
No problem. No problem, sir. How many DTMs
Oh,
are you
that's
up
right.
to now?
So I'm at 3 DTMs. However, I just finished 2 PATs. So I
Nice.
have a level 5 and 2 PATs now. And so I just need to do my DTM project and I'll wrap it up.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Does any of the other cast members have a question for Don?
I have a question for you, Don.
Sure, Mike.
Hey, so Don, my question for you is, why do you stay in Toastmasters? Right? We all understand why some people join Toastmasters, but I love hearing why certain veterans stay in Toastmasters and really stay active. Why do you stay active in Toastmasters?
Sure.
Really
Sure.
active.
For me, it's the Scott Garvers of the world. Like what he just mentioned, it's about mentoring now. I was given a gift of Toastmasters. I had somebody who mentored me. I don't know if you've been in Toastmasters long enough, but there was a gentleman at my work called Frank G, and he was instrumental in pushing me outside of my home club. So I feel it's my mission to pay it back and to give others the gift of Toastmasters. So I do more from a mentoring. I'm now involved in 2 advanced clubs, and I love that because I can mentor people within the advanced setting as well. So existing Toastmasters, but I still belong to my home club. I love the new people as well and give them that encouragement. But that's why I stay in Toastmasters, frankly. It's the connections, it's the relationships, but it's those mentoring opportunities.
Thank you, Don.
So with that in mind and all the ubiquitous accolades that you have, for a new Toastmaster, somebody's just getting started, or maybe he's been around a couple years and done a few speeches and are not really familiar with the leadership component, which has done so much for so many of us. What would your advice be to them to kind of dip their toe in the water or dabble a little bit, or even dive in head first like you did? What would be your advice to somebody like that?
Well, here's a secret. You said jump in head first like I did. I didn't even volunteer to be an officer, I think, until 5 years of being in Toastmasters.
Oh, wow.
And then even after that, I didn't want to leave my home club. I was pushed. But anyway, so a lot of people think, oh, wow, you've been in Toastmasters so long. You've been in leadership. I haven't been in really that long. Maybe the last 8-9 years, I've been in more of the leadership. But my advice to folks are, find an opportunity to serve in a different capacity than what you're doing today. So if you are a club officer, maybe consider being an area director, or if you've been an area director, maybe consider being a committee member or being an assistant to another leader within Toastmasters in the district side. I really say go beyond that you think that you're ready for, because what's nice about Toastmasters is it's not set up for when you're ready and you can try it. It's really set up for try it before you're ready, because we'll teach you how to do it.
Yes.
And so again, it's a great opportunity to really get your bearings under the leadership. And as I said before, it's so much more powerful than being a leader in a regular job where you have that positional authority. It's so much more rewarding, and it stretches you from a ubiquitous manner. There's so many different opportunities. I picked it up when I picked up what the word of the day was here.
That's right. Awesome. Awesome. You guys, we are in the presence. Yeah, I got a question, but we're in the presence of the word of the day assassin. Don is the king of the word of the day.
Awesome.
Yes, I have a question for you, Don. So like Scott mentioned, you're royalty to us. I mean, you're an amazing leader. You're an amazing person. I'm just curious to know, like, what do you do in your downtime when you're not being an amazing leader and communicator? What things you like to do for fun?
Well, there's a lot of things. I don't have as much time as I'd like to. And what's funny about that is a lot of people say, can you give a presentation on balancing your public and private life? And it's like,
Mm.
I'm not the right person for that, frankly.
Uh-oh.
But so there's a place for me to grow a little bit. My wife would
Mm.
echo that sentiment. But what I do, I love to spend time with my family. My daughter is
Mm.
getting married September 30th, my oldest
Yay.
daughter. And I'm
Awesome.
excited about that. So I just got my tux measurement last night. But what I do for downtime is I like to walk my dog at night. And her name is Maggie, and she just loves to get out of the house. And it's my time to decompress a bit as well. I
Yeah.
used to read a lot more, but I really need to get back into reading. I've lost that habit a little bit, but I like spending time with my family and walking my dog.
Awesome. And I
Great
have another
question,
question
Althea.
for you. Yeah, I have one more question if I could. So, Dawn, you are the co-chair of our district conference fundraising committee, which I believe is a brand new committee to our district. So for those of our listeners and viewers that are not familiar with this committee, do you mind telling us a little bit about the committee and what the purpose
Sure.
of the committee is?
Absolutely. This is actually our second year of having this official committee. We've dabbled in it in past years, but this is the first time it's really been formalized. But what our committee does is seeks to have fundraising as part of the ability to reduce the cost of our members who want to attend the conference. So, for example, what we do is we coordinate with various clubs within the district who are sponsored by a corporation and work with them to see if their corporation would make a donation towards our conference for advertising, publicity. We also encourage them if they want to sponsor the Toastmaster members of their corporation to sponsor their actual registration as well. But we really are reaching out into many different areas. This year, we're also contacting non-Toastmaster oriented organizations. As an example, in my hometown of Johnstown, where I live, Intel is coming. If you haven't heard of the big
cool.
Intel chip, so
Nice.
I met them at our local fair. I'm going to work on Intel about being a corporate sponsor. One of our other additional co-chairs, Gene Bailey, the past district director, is a co-chair, and we have Dr. Crystal Walker, who she's done a lot of fundraising and other type of nonprofit organizations. And she's come up with some really cool ideas. Now, I can't tell you all the neat ideas that we're coming up with.
We want to know.
But I have to have them approved by the trio first. But stay in touch with what we're doing. We're doing a lot of creative activities, not only at the conference, but we're hoping to do some lead-up activities as well. But part of the things is really working with the corporations to not only sponsor the Toastmasters event, but also get their word out. We definitely want to do something additional about advertising in other venues, not just at the conference, for our sponsors. As an example, one of the things we are exploring is what's called banner ads. So our corporations who are sponsoring a certain amount for our conference, on our conference website, you will have banners at the bottom of it that highlights them. So, for example, our conference is sponsored by company ABC, and it will have a banner at the bottom of our page. And so, again, it's just another creative idea of what we're doing to really highlight these companies that have and will support us. So we're excited. It's really, yeah. Go ahead, Scott.
I said that's fantastic stuff. If there's one thing about you that I've known since I've been involved with Toastmasters for 12 years now, and you have been a part of a lot of those years, probably 11 or 10, or from what I can remember, but you have always been a trailblazer. You've always been somebody who's encouraged looking outside the box, working outside the walls of your club. And I just really appreciate, and I want to thank you for that, because it's really made a difference in my experience in Toastmasters. I know so many, I see the rest of us shaking our heads as well, but we want to thank you so much for everything you've done for D40, and thank you for joining us and blazing the trail last year for us. So hopefully we can hold up to your standards And maybe we'll have a lot of ubiquitous qualities about us when we're
Oh,
done.
here we go. I love it.
Wow, wow, yeah, you're doing it there. But I do have one question, Don. Since you have been such a ubiquitous figure throughout Toastmasters these years, what has been your most rewarding position that you've done?
That's a good one.
You'd be surprised about that, and I've had many ubiquitous positions throughout my Toastmaster experience. But my most rewarding was being an area director. So again, back then it was called an area governor. And it was my first foray into going beyond the club and helping some clubs. And one of the first clubs was Scott Garver's City of Columbus. I remember that, and I still like to visit them once in a while. And it's really learning that there's so much more about Toastmasters than what you experience in your home club. That was one of my favorite experiences. I learned a lot. I learned more about Toastmasters. And when you visit other clubs, for anybody online here who's considering going beyond your home club, when you visit other clubs, you help your clubs get better because you find all these innovative ways other clubs have about attracting new members, about conducting fun meetings. Like I learned that from Scott Garver. He puts on some fun meetings. And again, it's just great other types of ideas. And that to me was my most rewarding year in Toastmasters, is my area director year.
Thank you, Don.
Fantastic. Well, Don, we're going to have to let you go. Unfortunately, we're up against the time here.
Sure.
I want to share one proud papa moment with you. I have 3 members of my club. One of them just started a new club at their corporations, already chartered 29 members. The second one is an area governor or is an area director this year. And the third one is an area director this year. So
There you go.
Yay.
I
All
have
right.
tried to keep up with the legacy that you've left with me, and apparently it's rubbing off on some of our members. So thank you so much for everything you've done, and thank you for being here tonight.
It's my pleasure, folks. You
Thank
have
you,
a
Don.
ubiquitous night here with all these opportunities you're sharing.
I know we couldn't leave without it one more time.
One more
Thank
time.
you for those words of encouragement.
And if anybody has any ideas of other ways to sponsor or upcoming conference, if you're part of a organization, maybe not so much a Toastmasters group, but other groups, reach out to me. I really look forward to connecting with everyone who can make our upcoming conference a world-class event. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Don.
Don. Take care.
Here.
And we're getting lots of reminders in the chat. So Johnny Randolph just reminded us that District 40 is still in need of area directors. So if you're watching,
Yes.
if you're interested,
Yes,
there's lots of opportunities available.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that, Michael. All right. So next on our agenda is news you can use. No, I'm lying. Actually, it is what have we learned? So I'm kinda- I know. I didn't mean to do that. My bad. So I'll go ahead and turn things over to Michael to handle that segment.
Absolutely. So this is all about, what we've learned. And so this is where we share some of the topics or maybe some of the things that we've learned that pertain to Toastmasters. And it could be around communication, leadership, just having fun in your club, self-development. And so I'll go first sharing what I've learned, and then we'll go around the room with everybody else. And so for me, one of the things I've realized is that there's a ubiquitous number of ideas available for writing speeches and developing content for your speeches. But today, what I want to talk about is I'm going to share 3 tips for using artificial intelligence to improve your speech writing. And so that artificial intelligence could be something like a ChatGPT or Bard or Claude or many of the other, Jasper, many of the other AI chatbots and assistants that are out there. So I'm going to share 3 little tips with you real quick here. So number 1 is to research and create content using AI, whether it's ChatGPT, Bard, Claude, etc. That's where you actually go in and you say, hey, I'm thinking about writing a speech on XYZ. Can you give me some ideas, some popular topics? And artificial intelligence will give you a list of lots of different items to choose from. I've used this numerous times to come up with speech content. So that's number 1. You can use AI to search. Number 2 is to practice your speech using a tool like Yuli. Now, Yuli is free to use. It is a artificial intelligence speech coach where you can actually record your speech, and it's going to give you real-time feedback on your speech, saying, hey, your pace is too slow, your pace is too fast, you're using filler words, consider rephrasing this phrase. And so it gives you lots of good coaching there. And then number 3, to wrap it up here, is use AI to analyze your speech and provide suggested improvements. So I've taken transcripts of my speeches in the past, put it over in like ChatGPT, and I'll say, hey, can you analyze my speech and offer me some improvements, some suggestions? And it will do that for you. It works really great. I encourage you to use that. So that's what I've learned as far as using artificial intelligence to help me improve my speech writing. And next, I'll pass it around the room to find out what you've all learned. So who would like to go first to share what you've learned?
I can go first.
Okay, Scott.
In honor of our guest speaker tonight and all of his ubiquitous talents and accolades, I learned to take action by doing 3 things. Number 1 in Toastmasters is to pay attention. Not only pay attention while you're in meetings, like say you're an evaluator or an eye counter or a timer, but pay attention outside the meetings. Pay attention to what's going on in your club, activities, trainings, conferences. Pay attention to stuff that's happening outside the walls of your club. Because like we've seen tonight, those are when I personally, and I know most of us, get the most growth, is when we can take off outside and see what's going out in District 40 as a whole. The C in ACT is communicate. Obviously in Toastmasters, we're here to learn how to communicate. So make sure we're doing that. Make sure we're not just going to meeting speeches. Do those projects, work through the path. The great thing about Pathways is it lines it all up for us. It's got it all the work's done as far as the plan. It's just a matter of, like Michael said, coming up with what you're passionate about. What do you like to speak about? Communicate, work on that continually. The T is Toastmasters. Immerse yourself in it. Get involved in every aspect of it. If you're going to a meeting, always take on a role. If you're going to be involved in the club and you want to have some say, be an officer. Run for an officer. If you're so interested in that leadership component, then take it outside the walls and just continue to grow and grow, because there's so many opportunities. So ACT is short for action. Take action and act. Pay attention.
Thank you, Scott. Wow.
Communicate and immerse yourself in Toastmasters. Thank you.
Yes. Take action, communicate, Toastmasters. There you go, ACT. Thank you, Scott. All right, Althea, share your 3, your what you've learned with us.
Well, thank you. Well, what I've learned is I can be a bit of an overthinker. Can any of you guys identify with being an overthinker?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, for sure. Right. So just in case for some of you that may not be familiar with being an overthinker, it is basically a thought process where you ruminate over past events, the worst case scenarios, and future outcomes, all the things that you have no control over. So are you unsure if you're an overthinker? Well, let's do a safe assessment here, because we're in a safe space, no judgment, right? So let's just consider a couple of things here. Do we often find ourselves worried about things that we have no control over, right? We don't have the ability to focus sometimes on tasks because our minds are elsewhere. We second guess decisions that we make. How about sometimes you feel mentally exhausted and you cannot relax? Now, if you answered yes to any of those, you may be an overthinker. And guess what, friends? It's okay. It's okay to be an overthinker. So I read in a blog recently this writer did a really great job of just kind of walking us through the overthinkers process. And they offered some suggestions to help individuals who may struggle with overthinking or negative thoughts or worrying a lot. So I just want to share a couple of those tips, and hopefully those will resonate with you guys and will help you in your adventure of not being an overthinker. So the first one is it's simple. Breathe. Just take a deep breath. There are a lot of breathing exercises that you could do to help lower the anxiety, lower the heart rate, and just bring a sense of calm. A lot of times that tends to calm down the worry for some individuals. You can find a distraction. So Don shared with us earlier some of the ways that he likes to wind down is spending time with his family or taking his dog for a walk. So find a distraction. That could be a hobby. It could be something that you used to love doing a long time ago, but life happened and you've kind of walked away from it. And now you need to get back to that to kind of calm your thoughts. So find a distraction that's going to help you not focus so much on the things that you can't change or control. Embrace your fears, people. Listen, errors are going to happen. You know, we're not perfect. Nothing is 100%. So just remember that any setback that you may experience is preparing you for your comeback. Wow. Start journaling. Yeah, start journaling. So that's one of the things I love doing is writing my thoughts down. A lot of times there's so much that's going on up here. I can't really, it's just too much. So I just need to write my words down and just get those thoughts out of my head, or even talk to a friend, just someone that's not going to say anything back, but just someone that just listens to you. Live in the moment. Have fun. Enjoy your friends and family. Do things that's going to make you happy, that's going to bring you joy, that's going to put a smile on your face. And the last one, which I thought was pretty important, ask for help. We don't always ask for help because we want to be strong and think that we can handle all of these things on our own. But you know what? Life is hard, you guys, and it's not meant for us to do it by ourselves. So there's people like Scott, Bertina, and Michael, and Don, and all of our friends within District 40 and family that can help us navigate life and help us counteract those negative thoughts and the overthinking and the worrying. So hopefully some of those tips resonate with a couple of you guys that will help you to understand that you're not alone in this overthinking game and that you can try to put in place some of these tips to help you not overthink so much.
Wow. Thank you for helping us to not overthink so much.
That's right.
We have a little time left in this segment, but Bertina, would you like to share what you've learned?
Sure. Thank you, Michael. You know, when I thought about this, it was the listening piece that I believe each one of you have shared about. But especially when I'm doing an evaluation and being able to tune in and calm my thoughts, because sometimes my thoughts can be ubiquitous and they're just all over. And it's like focusing in on what I need to do and listening and being fully present in the moment. And that was one of the things that listening piece gave. And we can also take that and use it when we're outside of Toastmasters, whether we're at work, we're with our families, or we're just dealing with the public, is being tentative and being in the moment. And so listening is my thing that I'm working on.
All right. Thank you for sharing there, Bertina. Listening and being in the moment. Very good. So that wraps up this segment, fellow Toastmasters. But if you're watching this, I would love for maybe you put in the chat what you're learning. Because, hey, as we know, as Toastmasters and really as being in personal development, that we have to be continuous learners.
Correct.
So, Althea, over to you.
Thank you, Michael, for that segment. Again, hopefully our viewers and listeners take away some great tidbits that were shared from our podcast co-hosts. So our next segment is news you can use. And who's going to handle that segment? No other than Miss Bertina. So I'll go ahead and turn things over to you, Bertina.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Today, are going to start with our news that you can use. It's going to be about our TNT District 40 Technology and Innovations Team. This team meets every Wednesday from 8:45 to 10 p.m. If you go to the District 40 website, you'll be able to click on the calendar and you can see the link in order to go and join. And just to give you a little overview of what they do, it says that we welcome fellow Toastmasters willing to assist the district leaders, and that would be our trio, in completing its work and achieving results by becoming more familiar with and using appropriate technologies. I had no clue about this, and they meet every Wednesday. And I just thought it would be something that you could take away and you could use it and go see what it does, and maybe even incorporate it and share some of your ideas with it. So that was my news that you can use. And next, I'm going to turn it back over to Althea. You have something for us?
Awesome. Yes, I do. Thank you, Bertina. So on Saturday, September 23rd, our district leadership team, which is our trio, which includes our district director, our program quality director, and our club growth director, they're going to invite everyone to attend the District 40 Town Hall meeting. It's from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Town Hall meeting will be held as a hybrid format. And for those members that would like to attend in person, the location for the town hall will be at the Upper Arlington Library here in Columbus. The address for the library is 2800 Tremont Road in Upper Arlington. Your very own District 40 podcast team, which is the four of us here, will be the moderators for the town hall meeting. And we encourage everyone to attend in person or virtually. For more information about the town hall and how to register to attend, check out our newsletter that's going to be coming out later on this week. It's going to have the registration links available for you to sign up to either attend in person or virtually. Also, information about the town hall will be published on all of the district's social media platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it. So we would love to see our members in attendance. You'll have an opportunity to ask questions of our district leadership and to hear all the exciting things that are happening during this program year. So that's the news that you can use. And I go ahead and turn things over to Michael.
All right, so the news that I want to share with everyone is, many of you may already know this. As of now, we have a new 2023 World Champion of Public Speaker, Ms. Jocelyn Tyson. She delivered an amazing talk this past weekend, and her talk is available on the Toastmasters official YouTube channel, so you can go and watch her full talk, as well as number 2 and number 3. You can watch their talks right now on the YouTube channel, and I will post a link in our comment section of that video. But it was an amazing talk, so congratulations, Jocelyn Tyson.
Woohoo! Awesome! Can't wait to see that. All right, we'll go ahead and turn things over to Scott to provide news that the people can use.
Yes, news for the people. If you're a club officer, you only have a couple of opportunities left to get training if you haven't been to a TLI or a club officer training yet this year. And those training credits important for your distinguished club program points. Mm-hmm. So if you need to get training, there is a TLI this Saturday. It's a virtual TLI. And if you need more information, the links and any more information, it'll go from 9 to 3:30 is what the agenda is set up for. If you want to sign up and you're available Saturday, you can email me at smgarver@columbus.gov. It's in the chat as well. Also, one other opportunity for training is next week, next Tuesday, a week from tonight. There is a club officer training. It's a virtual training as well. So from what I understand, those are going to be possibly the last 2 opportunities for us to get officer training. I am actually speaking and presenting the Vice President of Membership training on Saturday at the virtual TLI. So if you're going to be there, stop in and see me. But if you need that additional training, like I said, hook me up on email. I can share all the information with you, or you can talk to your division director. maybe your club officers will have the information as well. Thank you.
That is going to be it then. Everybody shared their news that you can use. I turn it back over to Althea to continue.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Bertina, for that. All right, folks. Well, we are at the speech and evaluation portion of our podcast. So what is that all about, you may ask? I'm glad you did. So as you guys know, the evaluations are pretty much the cornerstones of a Toastmasters program. How can we get better if we don't get feedback? So during this segment, we're going to evaluate a speech. We're going to put our evaluation skills to the test. All right, I have chosen a speech, and we're all going to view the speech, and then we'll do a round robin evaluation of this speech and provide some feedback for the speaker. And I would love for our viewers to participate in this evaluation as well. So as you're observing the speech along with us, be sure to put some of your evaluations in the chat as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All righty. Okay, and here we go.
Please welcome Noah DeGuanco.
Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? My name is Noah DeGuanco. I'm 9 years old. I have 3 younger brothers. We all look just like this.
Oh.
I'm here today to tell you that dragons do exist. Just kidding. That would be so awesome. You see, I'm just like any other 9-year-old kid. I love playing video games. I love playing with my friends. I love snowboarding. And like most older brothers, I love playing tricks on my younger brothers. But you know, I've started to notice that a lot of times adults like to fit you into a box just because you're a kid. It's like to assume that 9-year-olds only get to do 9-year-old things. They've age recommendations on everything, from books to toys or even sports or activities. Without even knowing, adults have put limits on what they think kids are able to do. Imagine what our world would be like if all kids, even adults, believed they could do anything they put their mind to. You see, us kids would like to think that we can do anything. An adult walks into a room full of Lego and all they see is a mess. A kid can walk into the exact same room and we see towers, cities, and spaceships. Us kids are constantly hearing that we are too young, too small, and even sometimes too imaginative. It doesn't have to be like that. Kids can do amazing things. I started my first business 2 years ago when I was only 7.
Wow.
Starting at the age of 5, I would go keep my mom company while she sold her handmade products at craft fairs. I would just go read while sitting on my beanbag behind her table. Then I started wanting to help organize her displays and eventually began talking to customers. A couple years ago, during a talk with my mom, I asked her if I could open up my own shop. Instead of her asking me why, she asked herself, why not? So when my dad came home, we all sat down and talked about what I'll need to get started. I didn't even have an idea of what I wanted to sell, but I was excited that I was going to have a business. The next morning, I told my mom that I had the perfect idea. My birthday had just passed, and we had melted old crayons, put them into molds, and gave them away as thank you gifts to my friends. They were a big hit. As I asked if that could be my business, and that is where it started. Now, when I noticed how every time we would go out to eat, the server would give me my brothers crayons to keep us busy before the food came. Once we came home, the crayons would just get added to the mountains of other crayons we had. Now we could take these old crayons, put them into molds, and resell them in shapes and characters that other kids love. When we finished with the first batch, I started selling them online. This got me thinking about my company name, logo, and how to package the crayons. The following summer, I ran my first table at a local outdoor craft fair. I ran into my first obstacle here. I didn't realize that my sealed plastic packaging would cause my crayons to melt in the hot sun.
Oh no.
After reworking my packaging, I launched my product into local stores on Main Street. In one of the stores, I have the honor of being the youngest business owner to sell the products. The reason I'm here is not to tell you the rest of making cool crayons. I'm really here to say that anything is possible, no matter how young you are. If you believe with a why not attitude and a great support group, you can make just about anything happen. I'm standing up here not because I had a brilliant idea, but because I took action with my idea.
Mm-hmm.
You see, without even realizing, I have learned what branding is, what expenses are, how to price my products, and how great customer service really works. But more importantly, I have learned to look for opportunity and not to be scared to do something I haven't done before.
Mm-hmm.
A year ago, I was at the same TED Talks event, and I wanted to be on stage. Now I am here, like every kid here today. If you believe in yourself and put in the work, you can be up here too. Hopefully, in 20 years, I'll be up here again, sharing my findings as a genetic engineer. My name is Noah DeGuanco. Thanks for listening.
Yay. Awesome. That was a great speech by Mr. Noah. All right. So I'm going to turn things over to the team and see what we thought about Noah's speech.
All right.
Well, okay.
Sorry, Bettina. Well, I absolutely love that. First off, that Noah had the courage to get up and speak in front of that large crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely commend him on that. I think he caught the audiences. He caught my attention right away, coming out with the Minecraft head on and starting his talk and then taking it off. Fell in love with him right away because as father of 3 sons who love Minecraft, I can relate right away.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like his message was delivered for the entire audience, regardless of whether you were an adult or a kid. He made it very universal in his message, or really about taking action, is what the overall theme was. And he's a living example of that. So a couple of things that I think Noah can do to improve his speech for the next time, if he's going to give this talk again, which I believe he probably will. One would be no rocking. I think I would advise Noah to work on learning how to shift his energy down so that way he can plant his feet versus rocking to the side as a sign of nervousness. He was doing that constantly. So I would say work on that. And then number 2, he stumbled over his words a little bit. And I think he just needs a little bit more practice delivering the message in front of a live audience. I think he'll be more comfortable. But overall, he did a great job. And I love that he took action and he demonstrated, hey, I wanted to do this. I did it. I wanted to do that. I did it. So I absolutely love that. Great job, Noah.
Yes. Great job, Noah. All right, Bertina, what about you? What you thought of Noah's speech this evening?
Oh, I just thought it was fabulous. I mean, he's a 9-year-old kid who's living his dreams. Like he said, just go out, do it, get it done. Michael, I do agree with some of the things that I did write down. I loved his intro. He caught us right off. I didn't know what Minecraft is because kids play too many games. So I get lost and forget what game is which. But that caught me, that drew me in. And then when he talked about dinosaurs, you know, that it just, his whole intro piece was just captivating. And he was ubiquitous in the topic that he had, with the words that he used, with how he did it and what he learned. The other thing, I thought, as time goes on, to practice the speech so that he won't have those little hiccups, so that he's only maybe just has one card in front of him that has his key points, which I think as he goes and as he practices, maybe use some of those tips that Michael gave about the AI, he'll be able to use those. But he was very insightful for a 9-year-old. I thought, wow, he's going to be somebody we're going to look out for, and we're going to hear his name. And that's all I have.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. What about you, Scott? What do you think of Noah's speech?
I thought it was fantastic. I loved how he said, I started my first business at 7.
Right.
What business I started when I was 7.
We're slackers, huh?
Also, I love the prop. I'm a prop guy. I like to have fun. So that's a great way to come out. I was like, okay, where is he going with this?
Right.
And when he said, adults like to fit you in a box. I was just like, oh, that took me back to my childhood. And I was like, my dad definitely tried to guide me through every decision that I made and at that age. And it was like, he's right. You know, once you're outside that box, your fears go away and you start seeing all kinds of possibilities, ubiquitous amount of possibilities.
Yes.
I agree with Michael on the swaying and the nervousness. I think maybe if he moved around the stage and maybe broke his speech up into 3 different parts or 3 sections where he could take a different part of the stage. I mean, I know that's kind of cliche, but that might take away some of that nervousness and definitely the swaying, because he wouldn't be standing in the same spot all the time. But I loved, and I also thought his clothes, I loved his clothes, but I felt like he could have challenged the audience. I felt like he could have spoke to all the other 9-year-olds out there and said, challenge them to face their fears, challenge them to break outside of that box.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a great way to finish it up. But I loved it. He's a courageous little kid, that's for sure.
Yes, I agree with everyone's points. Definitely at the very beginning, he drew me in with the box on his head. And again, I'm trying to figure out, where is he going with this speech? Like, what is he going to be talking about? But for the fact that he was able to take me on a journey with him, as far as a year ago or 2 years ago, he was in the audience at the TED Talk. And now he's actually on stage giving a TED Talk. That's huge. For me, that's inspirational. For me, that
living the dream.
Yeah, he is brave to be able to stand in front of a group of strangers and talk about him being a business owner. I agree. He was very nervous. You can feel the nervous energy in him. And I think with the TED Talk, they have like that red circle on the stage, right? You kind of have to stay within that circle. Yeah. So he could have still utilized his stage within that circle, but I do agree. And I love that point that you made, Michael, about him focusing that energy down into his feet. That's something I need to keep in mind for myself, because I can sometimes sway back and forth when I speak as well. He did utilize note cards. I think someone in the chat mentioned that he utilized a 3x5 instead of an 8x11 sheet of paper to do his speech. But having the note cards, I think, is helpful. He did at times have to rely on them a lot throughout his speech. But as he continues to practice and speak more, because he is a business owner, he's going to get a lot of practice doing this. I can't wait to see Noah's transition and him coming back and telling us about his career in 20 years. So thank you guys for that.
His first million, right?
Yeah. His first million, right?
Yes.
No, my first million when I was 11 years old, right? So yeah.
Oh my God, no big deal.
Another Warren Buffett.
I love it.
He's
I
got some
love
great
it.
storytelling skills already. I mean,
He does.
Yes, he does.
He does. That's pretty awesome.
He kept my attention, that's for sure.
Well, that was the speech evaluation portion of our meeting this evening. We are, I think, almost at the end of our podcast episode. So any final words for our viewers and listeners, Bertina?
Tune in next month to see what we have for you. But as always, get out there, be ubiquitous in everything that you do, your personal life, your work life, your Toastmasters life, because there is so much to be learned and to be gained.
Yes, thank you
Thank
for
you.
that. What about you, Scott? Any final words for our viewers and listeners?
Just step up, just keep continuing to volunteer, put yourself out there, and the work will happen. You'll get there.
Thank you. What about you, Michael? Any words for our viewers and listeners?
So I just want to I'll take my time and shout out some of our viewers. So Deborah Ham, she said, I appreciate how he recovered from his flubs. He kept going. Mm-hmm. Johnny called us all slackers. Right? So we got to work to keep it with a 9-year-old. I understand.
Oh, goodness.
Yep. Kid said he had a great speech. Johnny also said that, he was a smart kid. Mm-hmm. So I just want to thank you all for watching us. And I encourage you to check out the D40 calendar to see what else is going on. So that way you can participate in some of the upcoming trainings that are available, because there's lots going on in District 40.
Yes. Thank you so much for saying that. And thank you to our viewers on YouTube that are actively engaging in the podcast episode. We truly appreciate you guys hanging out with us this evening and being active, being engaged, and just really helping to move our district forward. I appreciate this team. I cannot wait for what the rest of this program year has in store for us. And I just bid everyone a great evening. And like everyone said, just get out there, get active, get on the website, check out all of the great events that are happening throughout our district. There's tons of clubs that have tons of events that are happening that you can attend either virtually or in person. So please connect. Let's grow our district. Let's be powerful and let's inspire. And that's all that we have for you guys this evening. So with that, we bid you farewell until our next episode in September. Thank you for viewing this evening.
Goodbye.